Good morning, everyone. So we've waited the requisite amount of time, so I think we've now got a full house. So welcome to the Rockhampton Leagues Club for the Expression of Interest launch and industry briefing for the Rockhampton Railyards Rejuvenation project. We're very pleased to be briefing you on this project today and to discuss opportunities to be commercial tenants. I'd just like to walk through the agenda for today. So we're going to start with walking through some safety and administration points, work through some introductions. We'll get a welcome to country from Naya Nikki, who's with us today, from the Durrumbul people. And then we'll get into some detail about the offering, and we've got a number of slides going into quite some detail about the offering. Then we're going to spend a bit of time with Tim from Benchon, who's here with us, to work through the Rail Workforce Industry and Supply Chain Portal, which is a critical component of what we're doing today. Then we're going to have some opportunity for some question and answers at the end. So just for some safety administration. So in the event that we need to evacuate the building, the club's elevator will not be able to be used under any circumstances. So we'll need to evacuate through the exit behind me. And that exit follows corridor, down the stairs, and we have a rally point out at the grandstand. If you need assistance, if you could just advise staff if you need assistance, and we'll be able to provide assistance to you. In terms of facilities, we have tea and coffee and water at the back, and we have restroom facilities at the back as well. We would ask you if you could turn your phones off for the duration of the exercise, which reminds me I need to do that as well. And if you are a smoker, and there are still some of smokers left, if you are a smoker, the smoking area is out the front of the building, away from the entrance. We will be photographing and videoing today's session, so just letting you know that that we will have photographers, as you can see, and video available. And later on, we will be talking about how you can access video from today's session. There is a Wi-Fi network at the club, and for those of you interested, those details are on the screen now for both what the Wi-Fi network name is and what the code is to access it if you need it. So in terms of introductions, my name is Danny Foster. I'm the Executive Director of ETCS and Future Fleet for the Department of Transport and Main Roads. And it's the Department of Transport and Main Roads that's leading this project. And with me today is Bob Anderson, who's our Project Manager. Bob will be going through in some detail about the site. We also have from Benchon Tim Wormsley, who will be going through the portal and how we access the portal. My boss, Tim Dighton, was to be emceeing today. I'm a late entrant. Tim is unfortunately unwell, as is seemingly most people in Queensland at the moment, with the flu. As we saw last week in the State of Origin, missing a key person through illness doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have a bad day. So I'm sure we'll still have a good day today. But we do have Tim joining us online via Teams today. So Tim would just like to say a few words and introduce himself and welcome you to the project.
Thank you, Danny. Morning, everyone. So I'm Tim Dighton. I'm the General Manager for Passenger Rolling Stock and Signalling with Transport and Main Roads. I want to start off by apologising for having to dial in today and not being there in person. Unfortunately, I'm in quarantine, but I'm pretty cranky, mostly because I didn't get my steak at the Brunny last night, but also because this is really genuinely a historic moment, I think, for Rocky. Obviously, the Palaszczuk government committed to the buyback of the Rocky site, and here we are with the purchase finalised April this year, and just a fantastic response from community and industry on the potential of the site and what we can do. So thank you all for being here. I'm sorry I'm not. I think you're in very safe hands with Danny and the team, and they'll be taking you through a few of the opportunities on the site. Obviously, we've got a big focus around rail, and we're looking at a little bit with our partner, Queensland Rail. But I mean, Rocky is a hub for, obviously, defence, agriculture, mining, and we're very open to multimodal opportunities for the site as well. So while rail's always our priority, we are very alive to the fact that Rocky is a bit of a bustling hub, and we'd love to hear what industry's got for us. Also some good opportunities in the heritage area and the Roundhouse, and we're again interested in urban renewal and apprenticeships and training, and we're very encouraged by what we've seen from industry. So again, thanks for your engagement. Thanks for being here. I'm looking forward to being back up there in a couple of weeks and getting boots on the ground again. I do also want to acknowledge the traditional owners and the custodians of the land. I'm here on Turrbal country, but up there, obviously, it's the Darrinbal people, and we're fortunate enough to have Darrinbal elder Nikki Hatfield with us today as well. I'm very grateful to have her here. As with all the projects in my branch, we've got a big span of rail delivery, delivering Queensland Train Manufacturing Program and the MGR trains and a few other things. We like to have a focus on what are the opportunities we can provide to partner with Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander owned businesses, or to provide opportunities for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people in traineeships, apprenticeships, employment. So we're looking forward to seeing how we can better partner with the Darrinbal people, and how we can get more Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people into the site and into these opportunities. But look, I want to acknowledge the Darrinbal elders, past, present, and emerging. And I'll hand you over to Nikki Hatfield to do a proper acknowledgement. But in the meantime, I hope you'll enjoy the morning. I hope you get something out of it. It's the first of, I think, a lot of information that we'll be putting out over the next few months. And of course, always happy for you to approach us if you've got innovative ideas, if you're looking for more info. And again, I'll leave you with Danny and the team, and I'll hand over to Nikki. But thank you all very much, and hopefully see you in person very soon.
Wow, that was a lovely introduction, and yes, most definitely. My name is Nyoka Hatfield, but I usually go by Naya Nikki. Naya means auntie in our Darrinbal language, and I teach my Darrinbal culture and language in the schools on Darrinbal country. So that's why I get called Naya Nikki, because that's what all the kids that I teach call me, and everyone else has gotten on to that too. So So when I heard about the railway yards being open again, my husband grew up in that area, and a lot of our family worked in those yards: boilermakers, fitter and turners, electricians, shunting the trains, just working in that area. And one of my cousin brothers went on, he's been in the railway industry for over 50 years now. He became a train driver, but that's where he started. So it was really exciting when I heard about these railway yards opening again. And hopefully it will bring more employment back to our community here. The people that live here, and it'll be really wonderful, like the gentleman was just saying. So I'm here to do the Welcome to Country, and which is a very important ceremony for Aboriginal people. It wasn't something we made up yesterday or last year. this custom has been practiced in our country for thousands of years, in this country of Australia. Aboriginal people didn't just stroll into someone else's country. We had too much respect for each other to do that. We had to be welcomed in the country. We didn't fight over country. Like I said, we had too much respect for each other. So it was a custom to get welcomed into another group's country before you went and do anything on there. So first and foremost, Nani biara bagu gata gumbu gata guibia gata gwin nugu yinami darbo nunti. Nani biara bagu gata gwin nani biara bagu gata guibia yirugu yani bana. Nani biara bagu nginang gamba nginang gumbu. No na ma wabagal yirugu mugun naton nini yirugu mugun gwin. So I pay my respects to the ancestors, old people and spirits of this beautiful land and sea country that we're on. I pay respects to ancestors, to elders past and present, and I pay respects to your ancestors, your old people. Aboriginal people always talk about the ancestors and old people because they're so important to us. They were strong people, and us Darrinbal elders, they were strong people. They were determined people, and they've passed that on to us. So at Darrinbal Enterprises, I don't know, some of you may have had dealings with Darrinbal Enterprise before, our company here, but some of you may have dealings in the future. I hope so. And like I said, it's lovely to see you all here. I hope you all have a safe time here in Rocky, all our visitors, and have a safe time while you're here, and that you travel safely home when it's time to go home. And gangundi gat the daranya darba mari. Na may in the double with darba one maliamba nunti. Na in double bimbigari. On behalf of myself and the Darrinbal people, I welcome you all here to Darrinbal's traditional homelands, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you to Naya Nikki Hatfield for her welcome to country today. So just a bit of background on the site, or the recent history of the site in any case. During the October 2020 election, the Premier announced in Rockhampton that a re-elected Palaszczuk government would be committed to buying back the Railyards through the course of this term of government. That task was given to TMR, and from that time through to April of this year, we've been working through quite a complex commercial acquisition to acquire back that property. During that acquisition process, we've talked to industry, local council, community, a lot of our colleagues throughout state government and in various departments, and to locals here in Rockhampton about how to get the best outcomes from the site as we rejuvenate it. From that, we believe that the redevelopment will transform the site, offering opportunities for local industry and a range of jobs across multiple labour markets. We're now, from today's session, accepting expressions of interest from potential commercial tenants for the Roundhouse Heritage Precinct and the Industrial Precinct, which we'll walk through in some detail shortly. So what is our vision for this site? Our vision is to position Rockhampton as a supply chain for rail and to provide local businesses with opportunities at the forefront of this rejuvenation project. Through engagement, we've recognised possible uses for the railway yards, including as a centre of research into hydrogen propulsion for rolling stock, which is an exciting opportunity, and establishing a major rail supply chain hub and new urban spaces for community engagement. Any work in the rail yard precinct must consider the history of this area, which is a long-term history spanning more than a century, and preserve the heritage-listed elements of the roundhouse in particular. This is a great opportunity for manufacturing development and for businesses who are either already capable of supplying the rail industry or have an intention to acquire that capability and who require additional industrial space to grow their business. So I'm sure most of you will be familiar with the site, but the site, as you can see on the screen, is quite a considerable footprint, and it's well placed to develop and activate an interconnected manufacturing ecosystem. The site is made up of the Roundhouse Heritage Precinct, the Industrial Precinct, and rail infrastructure and freight areas. So sorry, if we just go forward one more slide, thank you. Sorry, back one. I skipped ahead, my apologies, Suzanne. Yes, no, one more. Thank you. The one you're on and then I got you to skip from. Yeah, so apologies for that. The site is approximately 5.7 hectares of industrial land, has the Roundhouse Precinct, the Industrial Precinct. It has over 100 car parking spaces, has over 16,000 square metres of existing industrial footprint. It's zoned for industrial activities. It has a rail anchor tenant already on site. And there are opportunities, we believe, to collaborate with other tenants on site. It's ideally connected to both railhead and also road infrastructure, and obviously there's port access in the region. There's also well-developed engineering sheds with capabilities, overhead cranes and other well-developed capabilities that are pre-existing. So we just have a video now to run through a virtual site tour. So I'll just ask Susan to click on the video. Thank you. So I'd like to introduce Bob Anderson, who's our project manager, working with us and has been with us for over 12 months on the project, pulling it together. Bob's going to speak in more detail about the opportunities in the Roundhouse Precinct and individual buildings in the Industrial Precinct. So welcome, Bob.
Thank you, Danny. A bit closer. Thank you. So the Roundhouse is very exciting. It's a heritage listed building, first built in 1915, and so it's been critical to rail operations here in central Queensland for a lot of that time. It's the only intact roundhouse in the Southern Hemisphere, which is what makes it so special. And so the heritage value of that needs to be preserved with any opportunities going forward. Underneath it, there are modern offices which are actually built into the fabric of the roundhouse without diminishing the heritage value at all. And these actually won a architectural award for how cleverly they did that. So if we go there, yeah. So this shows these offices, and as I said, they're fully modern offices, modern fit out. We believe that you could accommodate about 90 people in there. And so this is suitable for either a single user with some sort of large requirement or multi-users, co-location, collaboration sort of opportunities. There's 9 individual offices in there, there's amenities, there's training and theatre rooms, and there's open plan spaces in there. And that's a plan of it. As I mentioned, we think it could be used for single tenants, multiple people, etc. If we look now at the industrial precinct itself, you'll see that there's a lot of opportunities. There's a number of sheds there. Most of them are large clear span sheds that we previously used for activities such as repairing, servicing, maintaining rolling stock. But they're all large, well-appointed, very good quality concrete floors, steel roofing. But most of them have, not all, but most have heavy lifting equipment. They've got power and utilities, and a number of the sheds also have railhead access. So the first one, Building A, is a paint shop. It's in very good condition, and it would be pretty much ready to go to begin sandblasting and spraying rolling stock or other large machinery. It has a railway line running through it, but you could also use it for trucks, for example. It also has, so it's got a paint booth, a spray booth. It's got separate office, so you could have supervisors, etc. And it also has baking and heating equipment in there as well. So Building C was used for locos in the past. It's potentially available in around 2 years. We have it sort of earmarked for another use until that time, but we have included in this EOI in case there's somebody who can sort of see across a 2-year horizon. They might be taking a space on the site and that they'd want to expand into that in the future. I'll tell you a little bit about it. It's got 3 railway roads into it. It's got a good pit in it for servicing rolling stock. It's got a lot of lifting equipment in it, and it would be also suitable for manufacturing if you didn't want to work with rolling stock in there. Building D is a very good site for working with rolling stock. It has 10 roads in it. Some of those roads have been closed off by other smaller buildings, but if you had a requirement for 10 roads, they could potentially be demolished. It's got a lot of lifting capability in there, and it's got 3 pits and platforms. So there's a lot of different things you could do in there. It also has a sandblasting area as well, and directly connected to the railhead. Building E has a number of different spaces in it. It does have some office accommodation, it has stores, it has amenities, and it has an overhead mezzanine, and it has good access to the paint shop if you were thinking about having a space, a manufacturing space that had some connectivity to the paint shop. It doesn't have the sort of lifting equipment. Actually, it says here it does. In one of them, it has lifting equipment. In one of the others, it doesn't, because it's got 2 sections connected. And it's not connected to the railhead, but again, very suitable for manufacturing activities. So G is the longest building on the site. It's close to 100 metres long. Has multiple entrances, and because it's connected to the railhead, again, you could just about fit an entire train in there. It's got lots of lifting. It was used for fabrication of wagons in the past. So again, you could do manufacturing and fabrication in there, or you might do something in the rail space. The building H, which is right next door to it, was the main stores for the entire site. And it's got significant racking in there for pallets, quite high racking. So it would be, again, very useful as a stores space. Building I is the largest shed on site, and if not the largest in Rockhampton, certainly one of the largest, with a massive floor area. Now, it has a lot of lifting capacity in it as well. It's got numerous cranes in it. And one of the things that's very, very good about the cranes in this building is that they're capable of actually cutting things straight off the back of a semi into the building and out again. The entrance it's not fully enclosed on that side, and some of the cranes can come in and out to hard stand. It has adjacent amenities, and it's obviously suitable for very large scale manufacturing. It did have rail access in the past. The line comes again to the entrance, but most of the rail stuff inside it has been removed. But so suitable certainly for heavy manufacturing, very large space. Building J is a smaller shed. When I say smaller, it's still 700 squares. And it's got good transportation access into the site. It's right near the front of the site. No heavy lifting equipment in there, but it's quite compared to some of the other sheds there, it's got very good natural lighting. One of the ends is somewhat open, and so it's got good ventilation, and it's quite a nice space. We think be suitable for a smaller scale manufacturing enterprise, or for use as facilities or stores in connection with one of the other sheds. And that's it from me. I'd like to hand back to Danny to talk through the expression of interest process.
Thank you very much, Bob. So we're very pleased to be accepting expressions of interest for the precincts that Bob just ran you through. There are separate selection criteria for each precinct, but not necessarily for each building. We just run different selection criteria for both heritage and for industrial. The closing date for the EOI process that we will run you through is the 5th of August at 5 p.m. So just to run you through a bit more detail of the process, we're going to register and submit via the Rail Workforce Industry and Supply Chain Portal, which we're about to do a session on shortly. All information will be available via the portal, so the prospectus and the fly-throughs through the various buildings will be available through that portal. So I would like to take the opportunity now to run you through the portal, given that how critical it is to the process. So I'd like to invite Tim Walmsley from Benchon, and Tim will run you through how the portal works for you.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Tim.
Hi everyone, I'm the CEO of Benchon. We're obviously providing the Rail Workforce Industry and Supply Chain Portal, and I'll give you a brief overview of what it is, why it's not just a tendering platform, and understand the benefits as to why TMR chose this portal. So the portal is a very easy to use system that will automatically link your business to TMR's expressions of interest, their tenders for their programs going forward, as well as their talent-based contract opportunities. So what that means is in their other projects where they need specialist people to do specialist tasks, or they have a workforce drop, they can put out requests that will match through to you and give you a subcontracting opportunity to provide those people into the projects. So that's what really makes this unique, is that we're now bringing the workforce linking and matching into the tendering portal. It's designed not only to maximise the opportunities for your business by bringing you opportunities you never knew existed, but also making it easier and faster for you to respond. So what does that mean? That means it's saving you time and money in responding, but also bringing you those revenue generating opportunities for you to expand your business. Now, the benefits of this system is, unlike other portals, your one company profile through your dashboard will link to multiple projects across TMR. So you don't need to go and find out what the landing page is for another project or keep your ear to the ground and go, what's happening with that project? The TMR projects will all come through the one dashboard for you and will link through to the capabilities in your business. So you can rest assured that you're going to find the opportunities when they come out, and you'll probably find work in projects that you never would have thought to register for. Another thing that makes this different is it's not a tendering portal where you have to scroll through hundreds of tenders to find something that might suit you. This is run by an intelligent AI algorithm that looks at the capabilities and capacities of your business and then brings those opportunities that meet your capabilities and capacity and then notifies you. So you'll only see the opportunities that suit your business, saving you time and effort. You know that when you get an opportunity, it's highly likely that your business can actually support it or should be seriously looking at it. The registration was designed to be very, very fast. You can sign up, register, and set your business up to be linked to opportunities within 10 minutes. So it's not like other systems where you have to put in your insurance documents and everything else up front. You register, you tell us what your business does, and the system will bring opportunities to you. And finally, there's no cost. There's no clip of the ticket, there's no percentages, there's no service fees for you to be linked to TMR's projects. So you can rest assured that all of your responses come directly from you to TMR with nothing in the middle. Now, the portal is powered by BenchOn, which is a national platform for all businesses across all industries to be linked together. You will create a free BenchOn company profile in order to access the TMR portal. Now, that profile will come with a number of benefits. The first one is that this is a concierge service. So when you sign up, you'll immediately get a welcome call from our operations team who will welcome you to the portal, explain how it works, answer any of your questions, learn a bit about your business and make sure your profile is set up for success. So that way you don't need to be worried about onboarding. You'll make sure that you're set up right from the start by talking to a person that will help you. Now, we call it a concierge service because going forward, you will then have the mobile phone and email of that person so that at any time you have questions, concerns, or even looking at ways that the portal can help you, you can give them a call and ask them the question direct. So it is a person-in-the-loop system. The BenchOn company profile will also help you link to other government portals, to enterprises, supply chain portals, as well as thousands of businesses across the country. So when you talk to your concierge, once they know what your business does, they'll be able to tell you which other portals you should be linking your business to. And you simply do that by logging in with your username and password into the other portals, and it will link your profiles together. So through your one dashboard, you can see opportunities from a wide range of businesses, not just TMR. So that comes as a big value add, only if you choose to use it. It's an opt-in, you don't have to use it. You can just be here for TMR if you choose, but you might be leaving a lot of opportunity on the table and expanding your market out across the country. The big part too is becoming part of the BenchOn National Network. And what that means is you will be able to, anytime you need support for your business, you've got workforce shortages, you need someone to help you with a contract, or you're just looking to partner with a business so that you can do something bigger and better, you'll be able to put your support requests into the system, and the algorithm will link you through to the businesses that have those people with the capability and capacity to support. So you can subcontract those businesses to help you on your projects. At the same time, on the opposite side, you can then be linked through to thousands of businesses who might be looking for the support that your company provides. So instantly your market expands over the entire country. Now, again, that's an opt-in. You don't have to do it. As you're signing up, it'll ask you whether you'd like to be part of the national network. It's your choice, and you can always go back and select it or deselect it at a later time. But essentially, what this portal is doing is providing a digital industry ecosystem so that you can access the work that you want to access, as well as support your business to grow going forward. Now, this expression of interest is obviously very unique in terms of how the portal operates. So this first one is a little bit different. So to go in and access this expression of interest, go to tmr.benchon.com. I recommend doing that when you're back in the office for two reasons. One, you'll get a welcome call from the ops team, and you want to be able to be sitting at your computer looking through the portal when you do that to get best effect. And 2, the security of the system will ask you to validate your mobile phone and your email address, which can be difficult while you're sitting here on your chair to validate that. So wait till you get back, go to tmr.benchon.com, it's very simple, and then go through a very quick registration process. So you'll be able to create your company profile in under 5 minutes. Now, when you're in your dashboard, there's 2 sections. There's the talent contracting section and the supply chain section. For this expression of interest, you're going to go to supply chain and you're going to set up your company capabilities. And that is simply a brief paragraph description about what your business does, and then selecting the capabilities that you would like to receive tenders for. Now, this is the first cab off the rank, so we've done this very simply. There's 2 capabilities in that list. The first one is the Rocky Railyards precinct, which you should all select because you're obviously here for that reason. And the next one is TMR capabilities to be confirmed. Now, when we go through future projects, they're going to break those out into, skills-based work packages. So you'll be able to register for those different work packages in the capability list. But for this one, there's just one capability, so you guys will all be matched to it nice and easy. Again, if you have any questions, talk to your concierge when they give you a call. Now, the algorithm runs at multiple times throughout the day, so if you do complete your supply chain registration and the EOI doesn't pop up immediately, it will in the very near future, and the system will notify you when that happens. It'll say there's been activity on your profile, the EOI will be there, you can go in, select it, have a look at the information, and then choose your intent to respond. What that does is that tells TMR that you've seen it, you intend to respond, and that they should be on the lookout for your response towards the closing date of 5th of August. So that's good for you because you're telling them that you're interested, and it's good for TMR because they'll know how many respondents they're going to get. At any point, there are guided tutorials on the system, and they are literally step-by-step tutorials if you ever get stuck. So they're on the right-hand side. You'll be able to click on it, and it'll literally tell you what buttons to click, what information to put in where, to make sure that you're properly set up. So I think overall what we're trying to say is this portal is designed to be very simple, very easy for you to use, and your concierge will help you right through. So don't be worried about the new technology. We're here to help. And as this is the first one for TMR, we're really keen to make sure this is super smooth and easy for you and you have a good experience. So please don't hesitate to give good or bad feedback to your concierge throughout the sign-up process so that we can improve it and make sure that this is a good system for you going forward. Thanks for your time. Yeah, do you want to? Yep. All good? Okay.
Thank you. So we've arrived at that part of the journey this morning where we're going to open the floor for some questions. We have roving mics, well, we have people carrying mics, but roving mics are in the room. And we would ask you, when you're asking a question, to introduce yourself and say where you're from, to assist. My commitment to you is I'll answer everything I can answer. Obviously there are some aspects I can't answer because they're either not formed yet, or they're subject to commercial considerations. But what I can answer, I will answer. What I can't answer, I'll tell you that I can't answer it, and I'll tell you why. So that's my commitment to you. I know that governments do tend to sometimes be run you around a little bit with respect to information. That's not what our intention is today. We want to be very straight with everyone today. So if you have a question, I'd ask you to put your hand up, and someone will get to you with a mic.
Thank you. My name is Eli. I'm from Berg Engineering. Traveled this morning from Brisbane. I just wanted to look at or understand a bit better with regards to the broader vision, keeping in mind the QTMP project and the fact that the government is looking to get obviously a manufacturing facility within the Maryborough area and also with a maintenance facility close to the Gold Coast. Considering that is the long-term project as we head into the Olympics into the 2032 and how we want to meet with the growing population and the needs of the rail transport. How does that tie up with what we are seeing here in Rocky? And is there a massive pipeline of project other than the QTMP that we believe this investment would serve to, or from, and my question comes majority probably from a lot of other people as well, that as we look to partner with companies like the bidders like Alstom or Downer or whatever, to try and understand so that we can better serve their bids as they are declared successful, as and when they are, to try and understand that what line of projects is coming in that we look forward towards.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. And that's an excellent question. I'm sure is probably forefront of people's minds. So the government has an overall rail manufacturing strategy, which is much bigger than just QTMP. QTMP is, however, the first real visible aspect of it, and it's obviously a very big project and is forefront in a lot of people's mind. But QTMP is not the only project and is not the only pillar of the rail manufacturing strategy. So this is the QTMP project, if you weren't aware of it, is for the manufacture of 65 passenger trains for the South East Queensland Rail Network, to be manufactured in Maryborough and to be maintained in a facility in the Gold Coast region. So that project is not necessarily part of this project, although we are in the tender phase at the moment, and we have proponents in the room. So you know, it's the offering that comes to the state may well consider aspects such as Rockhampton, but at the moment it's not part of the QTMP. Given that QTMP is, however, happening at the same time, we took the opportunity to look at a wider ecosystem to support what is really the reinvigoration of an entire industry in Australia. So obviously, while we might manufacture in Torbanlea, there's an entire ecosystem attached to that may or may not be located in Torbanlea or in the Maryborough region. So the intention is that QTMP is a big enabler for the rail manufacturing strategy, but it's not the whole strategy. So the rail manufacturing strategy for Queensland is not just centred in Maryborough and not just centred in Ormeau. It's intended to be basically an enabler to reinvigorate the wider strategy. Did that answer your question? Yep. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. John Abbott from Interport Global. Question on a specific one, the termination or the term of the lease of the property, minimum and maximum.
Sure. Thanks, John. The short answer to that is we don't have that information to talk to you about yet. So what our intention is to use this EOI process to really understand what the market requirements are. And from that, we will then enter commercial discussions with people, which will consider terms like lease. So at this point in time, we're not coming into this with a clear view on that.
Ash Thompson from Downer. Great presentation, by the way. I won't ask anything around QTMP. My one's more around the lease, so just following on the gentleman's question before, how is that leasing arrangement going to work? Will it be a square metre cost, or will it be a dollar leasing arrangement?
Yeah. Similar to my last answer, is that we don't actually know yet. So we want to understand, you know, what the interest is, what the market is, and what the uses are. But before we can really form that information, we do have a view that it should be a commercial lease based on market conditions. But what are market conditions for a rail yard in Rockhampton? We don't know that yet. So that's what this process is intended to. Understood, yeah. No, I understand it's a key question. We just don't have it yet.
Rick Palmer, I'm a consultant with Ag Street. I'm interested in the zoning situation and whether that's changed and what's the present position.
I might actually ask you, Darren, are you comfortable to talk to that, or Bob? In terms of there was a recent, but prior to purchase, there was a zoning process that was gone through, but I'll ask Bob to talk to that.
Thank you, Danny. So there's 3 zones on site, one of which we haven't talked about today and is not in this EOI. 2 that are. So the Heritage Precinct has a special heritage zoning. The Industrial Precinct is zoned for industrial activities, and there's industrial activities happening on site at the moment. Horizon is remaining on as a tenant in a smaller footprint there, and they're doing rolling stock maintenance there right now. And the last zone outside the actual rail yards, but where the old train station or Horizon Social Club, some people might know it as that, has been rezoned for kind of light commercial type activities. But I see Angus down there, so I'll say not big box retail. Yes.
I was going to say, surely you're not letting me off that lightly, but...
Thank you. G'day, thanks for the presentation. My name's Dan McCallum from the RTBU Queensland branch. I was just interested in assessing the suitability of tenants, contractors, and the fellow from Benchion mentioned contractors could put in their EOI on behalf of their subcontractors. Is there any criteria? I'm thinking in terms of ethical standards, in terms of secure job outcomes for the people of Rockhampton. Is that something that's going to form part of the criteria, or will it just be commercial forces?
So I'll make the distinction when I answer that. So anything that TMR would contract, or anything that's a TMR or government contract, would be subject to the Queensland Government procurement processes, best practice principles, and which obviously do provide for the outcomes that you're referring to there. Anything that's outside of what TMR would contract with an entity is not necessarily subject to that, but I might ask, I don't know if Darren and Bob, if you might be able to field that with respect to the EOI in particular.
Hi guys, yeah, thanks for the question. It's a very good question, and it's one that played on our minds when we were doing the EOI. When you get the EOI and you see the questions, they're relatively qualitative, and the idea of it was to find providers that could assist the community in Rockhampton. And so one of those key drivers in that, and I think it's a very specific question, the EOI, is how many jobs do you currently have in Rocky? How many more jobs do you think you'll be able to create by using space at the rail yards? So that's really the flavour of the EOI, is to improve the community of Rocky, and that's probably the overarching thing, and that jobs is a big part of it. Does that sort of answer what you're after?
Thanks very much. Mayor Tony Williams, Rockhampton Regional Council. Probably on the back of that one, and thank you to Barry O'Rourke for his work in getting this project happening. But Anastasia Palaszczuk's commitment to over 550 jobs to the region is something there that Rockhampton Regional Council is keen to make sure that we get every job that's possible out of this project, and it was a real body blow to the region to close those rail yards, and we're fully supportive of any businesses wanting to come and talk to Rockhampton Regional Council through Advance Rockhampton to assist in any way that we possibly can, but we want to make sure that we leverage any ability from the state government to make sure that those jobs come to fruition. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Peter Draper from QR Heritage, with Central Queensland Rail Heritage now. Yep. Just one question, with the roundhouse, is there rail access into the roundhouse? There used to be, but I know the shed that was in the way has been demolished. So,
Bob, I'll have to refer that one to you.
Thanks, Danny. I'm just trying to think along the rail lines, Peter. It wouldn't be functional. It'd have to be repaired for starters. I think the line probably does run all the way to one of the entrances to the roundhouse, but it's certainly not active at the moment. It'd have to be reactivated.
Good morning. Thanks for the presentation. Phil Henry, Capricornia Chamber of Commerce. Along with Advance Rockhampton, I acknowledge the Mayor, we'd be happy to spread the word further amongst the business community if you'd like us to do that in any way. Thanks.
Absolutely.
Thanks very much. Cole Hodgson from Brisbane. We're a family-based development company in Brisbane. Whilst this property was being purchased, we also purchased from Horizon their 260-acre property at Parkhurst.
Okay.
And we've inherited the Austrac sleeper manufacturing business, which has won the Australian rights for the inland rail. We also have an approved intermodal port there with Austrac, and we have a second approved port north of that, which is not being used. For the long term, do you see the new ring road project having an adjacent rail track to it at some stage, which will remove the rail system out of the middle of Rocky? And is it likely to be built in the next 10 or 20 years?
Okay.
That's out of left field, sorry.
No, that's all right. And I don't want to seem evasive. I don't know, but I've not ever seen that. But I may not see that where I am at TMR either. So
interestingly enough, we have a full rail corridor through the property,
right,
which links into the North Rail, which obviously was intended to come from Gracemere all the way through.
Okay.
And the benefits of intermodal ports are tremendous.
Yep.
Once they're up and running. You know, I've looked at them down south and things like that.
Yep.
And if you're ever going to get Rocky as a hub, you need that sort of development.
Look, I'm quite happy to take that one
for the long term
on notice, and you know we obviously the ring road project is run out of TMR Rockhampton office.
Yeah, we're dealing with them.
And our long-term rail planners are in Brizzy in different building, but you know within stone's distance of where I am. So quite happy to ask a question for you.
Yeah, no, I would appreciate it.
But I haven't seen that. I'm not aware of that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Wendy Wilson from Australis Constructions. Will there be any refurbishment and construction type work as a result of this project? And if there is, will that be through the Bench On portal that we've been talked through today?
Thank you for that. It's actually one of the key things we want to understand out of this process is through our engagement process to date, we've had different views on whether or not the property should be leased fitted out or leased not fitted out, and that's one of the things that we want to understand through this process. So the short answer is we don't have a view on that yet, but we intend to form that view from this process. There we go. Well, I might, at the risk of cutting anyone off, although we are around afterwards if there are any other questions, of course. Look, I might look to wrap up the presentation at this point. So next steps are to register on the portal and download all the requisite information and documents. I think Tim's concierge team is going to be pretty busy, making a lot of phone calls over the next couple of days. The portal is live now, and there is a link available to the portal on our website. The video recording of this event will be available on the website from Friday, so if there's anything you've missed or you want to go back over, that video will be available. Feel free to help yourself to tea and coffee. Unfortunately, the bar is closed, which is probably just as well. And take the opportunity to network until 10:30 today. Tim is going to be around for this period if you have any questions about the portal. And once again, we'd like to thank you very much for taking the time out of your day, and people have travelled to be here today. Thank you very much for making that effort. This is an exciting project, and we've been overwhelmed by the opportunities that came out of it, which, to be very frank, weren't that obvious to us 12 months ago when we started the process. So we're very enthused with the response from industry and response from the market, and so we're quite excited about what this project can turn into. So thank you very much, and we look forward to working with you over this EOI period. Thank you very much.